Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to just take a moment and celebrate what a special occasion this is, because we can all dance around and sing Ding Dong, the Lech is Dead, because Andrew Cuomo actually resigned yesterday. It's today while I'm filming this, but by the time you see it, it'll be yesterday that he resigned. I was really surprised by this, because these mafioso types, they don't go easy. They fight way too hard, way too long, but apparently he realized time's up, and he resigned. And I don't think a lot of gun people actually realize what a bullet we dodged here, so to speak. No pun intended. Because Cuomo was being groomed to be the next presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. And his entire platform was going to be, I'm the guy that took on them and bankrupted the gun companies. Because, a lot of Democrats right now are realizing that by the 2024 elections, Biden is pretty much going to be, asking all the kids to pull his finger and then screaming at all the people in the rallies to get off his lawn before he calls the constables. So they're not really keen on having to face that and having Biden run again. So they're panicking because they're starting to realize that Kamala Harris isn't quite the political winner they thought she was going to be. So they're scrambling. And Cuomo was one of the ones they were grooming to be the next best hope for the Democratic Party. And like I said, that's why he was taking such extreme steps against gun rights and the gun companies, etc. That was going to be his platform. I'm the guy that solved the gun problem. I just bankrupted the companies, and now we got no problems because people can't buy guns. So we dodged that. We should be thanking all these women that came forward after he diddled them, because they saved us from having to face that. President Andrew Cuomo. Even the chance of it, even if you think, well, someone else would have beat him, I can't bet on that, and I wouldn't be willing to take that chance. I don't know about you. So we should be, like I said, rejoicing. Because, he's not actually dead, but his political career is. It's done. He might be able to come back in the near future and run for a lower office, like mayor of New York or something like that, and rebuild his career, but it ain't going to be nowhere near in time to run for president in the next election. So we do not have to deal with this guy anymore. He's gone. And like I said, he was going to be one of the most stringent anti-gun candidates ever, because he was grabbing onto that far left-wing anti-gun elitist New York attitude, and everybody that has it, he was going to ride that all the way into the White House, thinking every 18 to 25-year-old is going to vote for the guy that got rid of guns. That was what he was going to be working on for the next 2 years until he could announce his candidacy, was getting all these lawsuits filed against gun companies until he drove them into the ground. That's why he wanted to be able to sue them, because when their products were used to create a public nuisance, meaning every time there was a gunshot downtown and people could be like, hey, woke me up, they could file suit against the gun manufacturers if they catch who did it and know what gun they had. Anytime someone commits a murder with a firearm, they could, okay, it's a Smith & Wesson, we're filing a nuisance suit against Smith & Wesson. And shortly after he announced he was going to do it, California started looking into it, Newsom, because he is Cuomo light. So we have to worry about Newsom now. Although I think the recall election might kind of throw a wrench into the whole Newsom thing. But Cuomo's done. It's awesome. I don't think a lot of people realize how awesome it is. I can't believe he lasted as long as he did. Did you see his excuse? I know these mafioso, self-important, think they're fucking studs guys think that they're doing a woman a favor when they grab them by the titty, because you're getting a chance to be with me, and I'm powerful and special. So that's why he thought he could get away with it. But his excuse of well, times changed, and I didn't know I wasn't allowed to run my finger up and down a girl's back or reach up under her dress and all this other stuff. I'm like, who didn't know that? In fact, you should know it more. The generation you're from, if a boy touched a girl inappropriately on a first date, they'd take him out and beat him. Your generation was way more prudish than this generation. So that whole, well, things were different in my day doesn't make sense, that whole argument. And I think he realized real quick none of his arguments were making any sense. None of them were sticking. I guess his brother over at CNN was just giving him bad counsel because it wasn't sticking. Which is, we need to see him go now too, Chris Cuomo. Needs to be off the air, at least until they can do an investigation into what his involvement was in all this. I should say. So, like I said, I just wanted to take a moment to rejoice today that we are not going to have to go down that road with the Cuomo candidacy and the Cuomo campaign and Cuomo trying to bankrupt the gun companies so that he could run on that for president. Because without that incentive there's not going to be as much incentive to try to get this to stand. And I don't think the courts are going to let it stand. Especially not without Cuomo behind the scenes putting, horse heads in people's beds and breaking knuckles, cutting off fingers. So I think, like I said, we dodged a huge bullet here, and we all ought to be singing because Cuomo's career is pretty much over. And like I said, that's good news for the gun community. All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to move on here to gun talk. And today I want to answer a question I get quite often from people, but I usually don't have a good answer for them. People ask me all the time, hey, if you were going to buy a 22 long rifle pistol, what would you get? And I'm usually like, well, I wouldn't buy one, but if I did, it'd probably be a 22-45 from Ruger, like the one that I bought my son and have right over there in the safe. But usually I say, there's not really a 22 I'd like. But there is a 22 I would like. And thanks to one of my viewers in my live chat the other day, they reminded me of this gun, that it's out now. And it is the Bobcat from Beretta, the Bobcat Covert. And if you haven't seen this, it's the little Bobcat pistol. There's the Tomcat, which is a 32. And then there's the little Tomcat in 22 that is suppressed. And it's not suppressed, it's got a threaded barrel, and you can put a suppressor on it. Now, if I'm going to get that gun, I am, of course, also going to get the little pillbox suppressor from Gemtech to complete the package. But that's a 22 I would actually love to have. If you've never seen them, they're really cool. The only thing I have against the little Beretta Bobcats is the little way they do the trigger guard. Instead of it being integral into the frame, it's like a hooked in piece of bent metal instead of actual part of the frame. And I mean, it's fine for what the gun is, but I like the way Taurus actually does it better when they do the similar gun, their clone of it, when they actually build that trigger guard into the frame. I think it looks better, looks more finished. But I would still take this gun. Like I said, very cool, little semi-automatic. Has that tilt-up barrel so that if you're someone who doesn't like to rack slides, you never have to rack a slide. It's got a manual safety. You can carry it with hammer down, safety off, and have double action on the first pull, single action every pull after that. Or you can carry it hammer down, safety on, where you got to turn the safety off and then have a double action, single action pull afterwards. Or you can carry it cocked and locked with the safety on. Gives you a lot of options. It's one of the few guns that you can actually lower the hammer and then still put the safety on. So if you're someone who likes a lot of extra safety, that's a good feature for you. Also, that tip-up barrel, if you've never experienced the tip-up barrel, it's so awesome. You just boop, tip the barrel up, stick a round in, close it, bang. And then it chambers your next round. So very cool little gun. And adding this threaded barrel on it, especially in conjunction with that little Gemtech suppressor, that's just awesome choice, I think. So when people ask me now, or even when they asked me in the past, or in the future, I should have said, because I knew this thing was existing, I just never think about it. But it's one of those things, if I ever saw it in a gun shop, I'm going to buy it like that, unless it's in the next 6 months, because remember, I'm not buying a gun in the next 6 months. And I'm still doing pretty good on that. I'm getting a little crabby, getting a little sensitive about some things, and I'm trying to fill the void by looking at cars. But like I said, if I ever saw this in a gun shop after the 6-month period is up, I would definitely buy one, because I think these are very cool little guns. That would just be such a hoot to shoot, especially, like I said, with that little Gemtech pillbox suppressor on it. So when people ask me what 22 I would buy, that right there is the answer. The Beretta Bobcat Covert. All right, everybody, I want to end the show today with our pet rescue of the day. And today we have the kitty, Hugo. And Hugo was rescued by Taylor Kay. And as you can see, Hugo is a very attentive looking kitty. Something wrong there. In fact, there's something wrong with this picture in general. You got a cat sitting in a bucket with Romex and what appears to be an electrical channel. And he's clearly stoned out of his fucking mind. Something weird going on here. I don't think this is code. I think this might be some sort of electricians union standards and practice violation going on here, because I don't think that cat's qualified to do wiring, especially, like I said, not when stoned out of his fucking gourd. So this picture almost wants me to report someone to the electricians union, but, you know, I wouldn't even know who to call, to be honest. But I just wanted to show everyone Hugo, cute little kitty here, although does appear to maybe have a substance abuse problem based on those blown pupils. But cute little kitty who found his forever home. Looks like he might be being put to work as an electrician's assistant. But, you know, nothing wrong with owning your keep in exchange for room and board. I've done a lot more for a lot less in my day. And believe me, he's getting off easy. So I wanted to say congratulations to Hugo on finding their forever home. And I want to say thank you to Taylor for being the kind of person that gives a kitty in need a place to live. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I want to sign off as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, you know, it is what it is. It could be a lot worse. Trust me, I've seen a lot worse. But it could still be better. And in the future, if we do what we need to do, if we start ignoring the fearmongers, the profiteers, the fake activists that just want to suck away your money while pretending to defend your rights, while all the time just working to pad their pockets, if we stop listening to those people and stop letting them manipulate us, what things will be for people who love the Second Amendment and freedom in general in the very near future is better.